Well, welcome in once again, everybody, to another edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, coming to you, of course, from the beautiful Rigel Studios right in the heart of the entertainment capital of the world, and you know that is Las Vegas, Nevada. We've got a great show for you today. Something a little bit different than golf. As you know, I'm love politics. And we've been fortunate enough to get some really great politicians on the show, some high-profile people to understand their philosophy about what to do to make this country better. And we have another good one for you today. Before I get into that, I just don't want to be remiss. I want to give congratulations to Rory Mcilroy, who won last week up at the Summit. Wonderful facility for winning the CJ Cup. It was a great event. Hope you had a chance to get up there either Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. But anyway, congrats to Rory Mcilroy. All right, let's get down to business. Let me tell you a little bit about who we've got on the show for you today. Certainly, it's a very familiar name. Dean Heller grew up in Northern California, right in Carson City, Nevada, as a matter of fact, and he is currently a Republican running for the office of governor of the state of Nevada. Dean graduated from a wonderful institution, USC, in Southern California, the University of Southern California, in 1985. And was recognized with the Distinguished USC Alumni Award in 2012. On the other hand, I graduated across town from a rival of his. I went to UCLA, so go Bruins. Dean has served as Nevada Secretary of State, an assemblyman, and of course, United States Congressman and United States Senator. Dean and his lovely family enjoy camping, hunting, horsepacking, not too far from where he is in the beautiful Sierra Nevada, and it is a gorgeous piece of the country. Dean, and this may surprise a lot of people, Dean is a former stock car racer. Now, when you get a look at him, you tell me whether you think this guy drove stock cars for a living. But anyway, it's my pleasure right now to bring up on the show Dean Heller. And Dean, thanks so much for coming on the show. I know you're busy as heck, and what's up with the stock car racing? How did that come about? Did your father influence you? Because Dean's father had an auto mechanic shop, so did that play into it or what?
My dad was the president of the Sierra Nevada Auto Racing Association in Northern California and Northern Nevada. So back in the 60s and 70s, of course, when I was much younger, I had an opportunity to watch him race. So once I got out of school, got back to Nevada, got back to the track, it just seemed like a natural thing to do. Not only did I race, but my brother raced, and so did my son. So
wow.
We have generations. In fact, it's always interesting to talk to drivers who raced against all three generations of us.
I was going to
made them pretty old, yes.
I was going to say, so you had the whole Heller team on the track, right?
That's correct. It was a lot of fun.
Do you remember the first car that you had that you used for stock car racing?
I sure do. In fact, I started out with go-karts. That's how most of you
wow.
get started with racing. So it was go-karts. My son started in go-karts, and you just go up from there. And, you know, I ended up in GT1 racing and also super modifieds, late modifieds, dirt, trucks, you name
wow.
it. And I was in it. So anyway, a lot of fun. Not, it's a lot different than swinging a golf club, but I'll have to tell you, my most favorite thing to do as I was doing all of this was racing on Saturday night and playing some golf on Sunday morning.
No kidding. Good for you.
That was my favorite weekend.
That is good for you. That's great. Dean, you were a successful, very successful businessman in another life. How did you then think about getting into politics? What was your motivation? Why did you do it?
Well, Dennis, when I was going to your rival school, USC, I actually put myself through college by working on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange in the afternoon, in the mornings, and then went to school in the afternoons.
Wow.
So my junior and senior year of college, I was working on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange in Los Angeles, trading stocks. Became an institutional broker, got my Series 7 license and all that. So did that for about 10 years. And after a while, I did not want to raise a family in Los Angeles, frankly. And so my wife and I moved back to Carson City because I received a phone call from the state treasurer saying, hey, you do a lot of investments for the state of Nevada. How would you like to actually invest our portfolio? So I went back to Carson City, worked for the state treasurer's office, became the chief deputy state treasurer's office,
Right.
and that's what catapulted me into politics.
That's very, very interesting. I had no idea. Now that you're back in, so to speak, what do you think in running for governor? What, in your estimation, Dean, what do you think is the biggest difference in issues that face Northern Nevada as opposed to Southern Nevada?
Well, I don't really like to distinguish between Northern Nevada and Southern Nevada because I'm a big believer that everybody really wants the same thing. What most Nevadans want is they want a good job, they want a good education for their children, and they want their neighborhoods to be safe. This is what all Nevadans want. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what your background, where you come from. You want to have a good job. You want to be able to make sure that your children get a good education, and you want to live in a safe neighborhood. And that's true whether you live in Las Vegas, Reno, Elko. It doesn't matter. That's what you want, and that's what gives you your quality of life.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on what's going on in the country is kind of crazy, and we could get into that. But with all of the people moving here from Washington, from Oregon, particularly from California, Minnesota, Wisconsin, everybody seems to think, well, you know what? Let's move to Nevada. Let's move to Southern Nevada. Let's get to Vegas or whatever. What's your thoughts on that? Are we ready to welcome all of these people here?
Well, keep in mind, this has been going on for 25 plus years. In fact, I remember when I was in the legislature back in 1991 and 1993, they were talking about 5,000 people a month moving into Las Vegas a month. And then this just kept going on. They said, oh, this will go on for another year. This will go on another 2 years. Here we are 25 years later, and it is still happening. And I do believe it's changing the state quite a bit. Depends on, what their background is and what their cultures are and, frankly, what their political leanings are. But frankly, I kind of like it. I mean, we have 2 million people living in the valley now.
Yeah.
And, and that's doubled just in the last, 15 years.
You hear about, Dean, people moving here, and I think it's great, but you don't hear about the people that are moving out. And if I'm not mistaken, I did some research, and I think it was Douglas County that has a fairly big percentage of people that are moving out. Why? They can't find a job. They can't keep their job. The housing is too darn expensive. They can't afford a house. They don't like the education system. What about issues like that, Dean?
Well, Dennis, you're hitting on all the hot buttons that are going on in a state that has grown as fast as the state of Nevada has. And frankly, that's why I am running for governor. I believe we have a governor that has put Nevada on the top of every bad list in America, and that's why people are moving out. If you're the top of unemployment, if you're the top in graduation rates for your children, if your crime rates are going through the roof, and keep in mind in Nevada, our murder rates are higher than they are in Guatemala right now. I guess the only good news is at least it's below Chicago's. So we're trending in that direction. But these are tough times. When you turned Las Vegas into a sanctuary city, crime rates tripled.
Yeah.
And people are seeing that, and they know that. They want safe neighborhoods, and if you don't want to live in a safe neighborhood, live in a sanctuary city. And that's what we're ending up here in Clark County. And that's one of the reasons I'm running. When I run, when I run, there will not be sanctuary cities here in the state of Nevada. Our crime rates will go down, our educational systems will improve, and people will have jobs.
Well, let's talk, and that's well said, Dean. Let's talk about some specifics, because when we publicized the fact that you were going to be on the show, I heard from a number of viewers, and they said, if you have a chance, ask Dean about this, specific to the Las Vegas Valley. First of all, let's talk about homelessness. That is a real concern for not only residents, but also for people that are visiting Las Vegas when they see what's going on in the areas and the neighborhoods, even on the Strip, about homelessness. What's your plan for that, Dane?
Well, let's be very clear. This is a mental health issue, and trust me, the amount of time that I spent in Washington, D.C., I saw the homeless issues at its very worst. And I think that we're bringing some of those problems here to the West Coast, and especially here in Las Vegas. We do need a lot of work when it comes to the healthcare facilities that we have here in Southern Nevada. We need to help get these people off the streets, get them training, get them back into the workforce. There's a lot of issues that we can that we have to be determined to work with. But the mental health care in Southern Nevada and throughout the state needs to be improved. And,
right.
And I'm telling you, until you do that, I want this city to be great. You can't have a great city with the kind of homelessness that we're seeing right now. And we need our elected officials to really concentrate
right.
on this. You can't go by any underpass now throughout this city without seeing the homeless population.
Right.
We could be doing much more, but the concentration needs to be on mental health services in this state to help get these people back on their feet, get them into facilities that they can be taught, they can be trained, and frankly, help them out any way that we possibly can. A big issue, Dennis, and something that needs to be tackled.
Yeah, and I think that's very well said. And of course, it's not exclusive to the Las Vegas Valley, to Southern Nevada. It's happening in Northern Nevada, and then really all over the country as well. What are you going to do as governor, Dean, as far as getting even more tourists here to the Las Vegas Valley, to keep from having conventions and conferences canceled because of COVID, the restriction on small businesses, the mask mandate? What's your plans for that?
Well, let's keep this all in mind. After my last race, I thought I was done with politics. I really did. And then 2020 hit us. And then bad politicians started making some really bad decisions, like shutting this state down.
Yeah.
We are still suffering from the effects of what Governor Sisolak did to this state. 80% of small businesses still feel the effects of that lockdown. So the first thing and foremost thing that I will not do is I will not mandate masks statewide, nor will I shut this or lock down this state again. It put us at the very top of unemployment numbers. It decimated our education system, and we're paying a huge price for that. We need to continue to grow. We need to continue to take a look at these things. Think of our educational system for a moment. And we now have, because we lost a year of education in this state, we have third graders reading at a second grade level.
Mm-hmm.
We have fourth graders who are now writing at a third grade level. We have fifth graders are doing math at a fourth grade level because we absolutely lost a year of education for these children. And that's unacceptable. But if you're going to continue to grow this state, you have to work hard keeping this economy strong. You got to keep our taxes low. You got to go after bad taxes like the commerce tax. My first budget will not include the commerce tax in it. A terrible tax. It actually costs more to implement than it actually raises in revenue. These are the kind of things that I think slows down this economy. We are, number 2 or number 3 in unemployment nationwide, and these bad regulations, bad taxes, these things have to change. And I talked to the Retail Association, tell them that our taxes have to be stable, our regulations have to be stable, and we
Yep.
need a workforce out there that help these hotels and help these small businesses survive.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's absolutely critical, again, both for Southern Nevada and as well as the tourism block that comes to Northern Nevada. It's critical. You mentioned law and order. One of your opponents happens to be Sheriff Joe Lombardo. I'm thinking of my cousin, Joe Lombardo. And he, of course, has been the sheriff of Clark County for, I guess, going on almost 8 years. You talked about law and order. How do you view that here in Clark County, Dean?
Well,
And would
clearly
you?
we
And
need-
let me interrupt you. And once in Carson City, we're not going to hear defund the cops, defund the police. What are you going to do to get more money in the hands of all of the police agencies throughout the state of Nevada?
First of all, to you, Dennis, and to your listeners that are viewing this at this point, keep one thing in mind. The Nevada Police Union has endorsed my campaign. So stop and think about that for a moment. Because of this governor, because of this sheriff, I've actually have the rank and file police officers across this state, Highway Patrol, supporting my campaign because they want a governor. They want a governor that they never have to question what side they're on. And that's been a question mark over the years, and that will not change. I will support our police. I will, the catch and release programs that we have down here in Clark County right now, think about this for a minute. If you do catch and release, if you make Southern Nevada a sanctuary city, if you do these kind of practices, your rates of crime are going to triple, which is exactly what they did here in Clark County after implementing catch and release and sanctuary cities. So that has to come to an end, and you have to support the police force that we have here across the state.
Sure.
This is why the Nevada Police Union is supporting me, because they know that they'll finally have a governor that will be on their side.
Okay, that's so important to people, not only that the tourist industry that comes here, but obviously very, very important to the people that lived here. Once in Carson City, plans that you might have for attracting families to move here, getting more tourists to come here, again, and with business conventions and getting the hotels back on their feet, so to speak. What do you envision that you might do to help that?
Yeah, first of all, there will be no mask mandates. There will be no lockdowns. That is number one. As long as they know that this state is open for business. This state literally has been closed to business the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Anybody across any portion of this nation knows that that this state has been shut down, and it continues to struggle because of that shutdown. So no masks and no shutdowns. But there are a lot of ways of creating jobs and attracting people. Las Vegas is a world-class city.
Yep.
A world-class city. We're bringing in these professional sports. I talk to my colleagues around the country, and they tell me if we have one away game in the NFL season and it's in Las Vegas, that's where we're going. So it is a world-class city. We need to maintain that and continue to make sure that the safety and security are there. Let's lower the crime rate. Let's get rid of the sanctuary status that we have here so that they know that when they come to Las Vegas, they will be safe. And it hasn't always been that way, especially during the lockdown. During the lockdown, gangs controlled the Strip. And that can never happen again. People need to know that when they come to Las Vegas, they'll have a great time, but they'll also be safe.
Yeah, that's super, super important. Dean Heller is joining us, hanging with us here on the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. And Dean, let me ask you, I talk to a lot of teachers, I talk to some school administrators, and you're aware of some of the problems we're having down here. Why is the education system here so bad?
Well, first of all, the choices are taken out of the hands of the parents. I truly do believe, and by the way, my wife is a school teacher.
Yes, I know.
My daughter is a school teacher.
I know.
So we have a lot of education-minded people here in my family. And we talk about this, of course, all the time. I believe the most important decisions have to be discussed with the parent, the teacher, and the principal. Those are the three people that need to be making decisions for that child. and not some bureaucrat in some bureaucracy, on the other side of town. If we can keep these decisions made locally, and as you know, there's a lot of fights going on right now at these school board meetings across the country. I'm not a
Gosh,
supporter. I am not a supporter of CRT, and the fact that what I want is an educational system that will teach children to be proud of their country and to love one another. That's what I want the schools to teach and to send that kind of a message. And when they do, you can teach math, you can teach writing, you can
right.
teach arithmetic. But they need to know that they're in an environment where we love our country and we love one another. And that's just not being taught today.
Not only here in Southern Nevada, but Northern Nevada, Dean, we're losing teachers, we're losing bus drivers, for crying out loud. What can you do to make people want to come here that are good teachers, say, you know what, I'm going to Nevada, I want to teach, I belong in those schools, and I want to do my thing to help these kids? That just doesn't seem to be the case right now, Dean.
Well, we have a lot of good teachers here in Nevada, a lot of really good teachers. The problem with a good teacher is that they send them up the totem pole, up into the administration. They quit teaching and they become administrators.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to keep these teachers in the classroom, the ones that are really good. And they need to be paid accordingly.
Right.
And I believe that's the biggest fault of our educational system in Nevada today, is that we do not pay our teachers enough.
I agree.
And there's what can be done, and we can sit down with the legislators and negotiate this. By the way, same's true with our highway patrol. They don't get paid enough. Those that keep us safe, those that teach our children, those that create jobs, we need to be looking out for them, keep the economy strong, keep our educational system strong, and of course, keep bad people out of our neighborhoods.
Have you had conversations, speaking of NHP, have you had conversations with Colonel Carpenter about what her thoughts are on that?
I have numerous conversations, and that's why the Nevada Police Union is supporting my campaign. They see in me someone that's going to support law enforcement across the state, someone that recognizes the weaknesses that we have now, the fact that we turned Nevada or Las Vegas into a sanctuary city, the fact that we practice catch and release, the fact that we have a murder rate that's higher than Guatemala today. Yeah, they want someone that at least recognizes that and is willing to do something about it and says, hey, come to the table.
Right.
They haven't been at the table for negotiations in several governors. All they want is a chance to let their voices be heard and talk about the problems and issues that they're facing every day. We will make our law enforcement premier here in this state.
Right.
If I'm done.
Yeah, there you go. Dean, what would you say is the main thing that separates Dean Heller from all of your other competition running for the governor of the state of Nevada? Are you going to come out with a video pretty soon with a 6-gun on your hip shooting beer bottles like Michelle? Because to be honest with you, I call her a cartoon character. Okay, she's probably a nice lady, but what separates you from your competition?
Well, Dennis, first of all, and to all your viewers, go to deanheller.com and watch that video. That is the launch video for this campaign, and I think you'll like what you see. It's only 2 minutes long, but go to deanheller.com. But let me tell you what separates me from everybody else in this race. I am the only proven conservative in this primary. The only proven conservative, and I believe that conservative practices are going to win this race. I'm the only person in this campaign that has sat down with Donald Trump and helped write and pass the American First agenda. I sat down with President Trump and helped write and supported and voted for the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. I'm the only person in this race that has voted for over 150 conservative federal judges in the state of Nevada, including to 2 Supreme Court justices. And let me finish with this. The only member of the Nevada delegation that voted against the Wall Street bailout when I was in Congress. So I believe conservative principles are going to win this race. I have them, and I will beat Steve Sisolak.
What is your thinking, Dean, and your support on because I have a number of people wanted me to ask you this also. You're thinking about woman's right and supporting Planned Parenthood, yay or nay?
All right. Well, first of all, I'm pro-life and I'm proud of it, and you need to know that. But I do believe that during the lockdowns, it was atrocious that our abortion clinics were open and our churches and schools were closed. That was wrong. That will never happen again.
Okay. All right. What's your plans for holding some rallies and whatever down here in Las Vegas and Southern Nevada? What's your schedule like? I know it's got to be hectic with Jack pushing you every day. What's it going to be like?
Campaigns. First of all, I love campaigning. Let's put that first and foremost. Shaking hands. Everybody talks about the vaccine and COVID and all this. And
right.
Let me assure you, I've had my shots. And by the way, I urge everybody else to get those shots because this is a serious disease and we should take it serious. But just because I'll be shaking a million hands probably in the next 12 months, I think it's important that people know that they're safe when I'm in the room.
Yeah.
But needless to say, that's what this is all about. It's getting out, doing these rallies, getting into people's homes, talking to them about the issues that they care about most. And I will tell you right now, Dennis, they're going to be talking about jobs, they're going to talk about educating their children, and they're going to talk about safe neighborhoods. And if I can convince them that that's what I can deliver, I'll be the next governor here in the state of Nevada.
Okay, last question. Do you foresee, Dean, the possibility of any type of debate between you and maybe the governor or a couple of other of your Republican candidates? Any chance of that happening?
They're starting to get lined up. Most of them are after the first of the year. Maybe we'll get some earlier, but we're going to clubs now, Rotary clubs, women's clubs, talking to them. But I think most of the debating will happen after the first of the year. Obviously, filing starts in March, and that's when everything really kicks off.
Right.
And we're running hard.
Okay. All right. Maybe one day we could get you out in the golf course. What do you think?
I'm not as loose as I used to be. I used to have a pretty good swing.
Yeah.
But you just get older and stiffer, and
true,
and you have to adjust and all that. But Dennis, I'd love to play around and golf with you one day.
That would be a treat. That would be a treat. Anyway, Dean, thank you so much for your time. I know that you're very busy, and everybody I know that's looking appreciated your message. We wish you, of course, nothing but good luck, and hopefully we can have you on again sooner than later.
I like that, Dennis. Go to deanheller.com, take a look at that video, and I think you'll like what you see. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thank you, Dean. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Dean Heller, everybody, candidate for the gubernatorial race on the Republican side for the governor of Nevada. All right, we're going to step away, take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of other things, so stay with us. We're back with you right after this.
When I first learned about Encore, I was a little taken back because I didn't know much about the ball. I went out and played a couple rounds with it, and I was just extremely surprised how this ball made up for what I was looking for in a golf ball 20 years ago. It's a very straight ball. It launches a little higher than other balls that I've used, which is ideal for the tour because we're playing firm and fast greens. A lot of the balls do fly very similar, but this ball reacts so much differently around the greens and inside 100 yards than any other ball I've ever played. The combination of this ball is the best ball that I've ever played.
Hey golfers, I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with, and more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at encoregolf.com and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to encoregolf.com and see for yourself. Your scores will love you for it. That's ONCORE golf.com. All right, welcome back, everybody, to More Than 19th Hole podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. We want to thank Dean Heller for all of his time. It's really interesting to get some insight and get some information about where all these candidates stand as far as their philosophy, what they want to do for the state of Nevada. And we're grateful that we've had the opportunity to bring just about all of the candidates for that office to you. And the most important thing is, of course, is you got to get out and vote. Okay, you believe something, but you got to get out and vote and make that happen. All right, now we're going to go to the game tip of the week with my good friend Adam Bazalgette from Scratch Golf Academy in Florida, three-time PGA Section Teacher of the Year. He's got just a great facility and probably has the best online golf lesson business going. So take a look at this.
Hi, Adam Bazalgette here at beautiful Mediterra, Naples, Florida. I'm the founder of Scratch Golf Academy, and I wanted to talk to you today about how to avoid hitting the ground behind the ball. It's a thing a lot of people battle. There can be a number of circumstances involved in it, but let's focus on the two major elements and see if these give you a little bit of insight and help you progress in this area. Number one, weight too far back. Now, we certainly don't advocate getting your head in front of the golf ball as you hit it, but I can assure you, great players, when they hit irons, if you draw a line up from the ball, that ball's more in line with their right hip than it is with their left hip. You really need to be on your left side. That is such an important thing in terms of hitting the ground further over to the left. And the second thing, and you can have a combination of these things certainly, is the tendency to straighten the wrists too early. What that does is it widens the swing arc, and prematurely the club reaches the ground back here. If my right wrist is bent, the club would never actually reach the ground. That narrows the circumference of my swing. So any combination you can get where your weight is further to the left, again, head would be fairly stationary and centered, and that your wrists are more cocked later in the downswing, this is going to give you clearance from the ground and make you hit the ground more over there. I've got all sorts of videos and techniques as to how to work on these things, but let me give you one simple drill that I think at least might get you started and help you. Line up a few golf balls there, like so, and pretend the line extends a little bit. This is an 8-iron. I'm just making a small swing here, and go ahead and preset your hips and your weight to the left. Again, my head's about centered. I feel most of my weight to the left. And practice releasing your wrists so that the club goes down on the front side of the ball. And I say that because I don't think it's that effective to just try to hold your wrist angle. I think you want to time the release or the snap of the wrist in a different place. I find most people have more success with that. So weight forward, practice hitting the ground more over to the left. And when you've gotten a little feel for that, just set up to the golf ball, weight forward. And just hit some little shots on that scale, and you can see I was able to hit the ground in front of the ball. Critical for good iron play.
All right, welcome back. Always great information from Adam, and like I say, he teaches a lot of great players from tour professionals to amateurs, and I am so looking forward to meeting him in person at the upcoming PGA show in the middle of January that they have in Orlando, Florida. Anyway, I got a couple of very cool text messages about our interview with people watching on Facebook Live. And you could get us on other platforms as well, YouTube, Google Play, Apple app. Please subscribe if you have a chance to, or give us a couple of likes, or leave some nice comments, if you will. All right, we're going to go away, take another short break, and we'll see you right after this.
One of the buzzwords happening in golf is the word lag. You hear it all the time, but what is it, and how do I get it? Lag simply is the loading of the club to help produce tons of power in your golf swing. Up until now, getting lag into your swing has been very hard. Introducing the Lag Shot, a brand new proven training aid being praised by some of the leading PGA Tour instructors across the globe. This practice aid trains your hands, arms and body how to make a powerful, efficient golf swing with an amazing amount of lag. Lag Shot is a 7-iron length club with the same loft and lie with a whippy, flexible blue shaft and a beautiful jet black club head. After you master the Lag Shot, your game will change forever with a stress-free swing, more power and more distance with lower scores every time you play. Go to lagshotgolf.com and you'll see why this truly is becoming the #1 training aid in golf. Visit lagshotgolf.com. As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence (AI) has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
All right, everybody, we thought another great show. We appreciate the time that former Senator Dean Heller gave us. And again, we hope to have him on the show again sooner than later. We get a little bit further into the race and maybe get him out in the golf course. That would be kind of cool too. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for another edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I have been your host, Dennis Silvers, wishing you nothing but fairways and greens. The weather is absolutely great here in Southern Nevada, so get out and play some golf if you can, and we will see you back same place, same time next week. So long, everybody.